Hello, welcome, and I will show you some free tools and today VirtualBox. My name is Dion Vicious. So this video is about VirtualBox, and first we have to discuss what is actually virtualization. Then we're going to talk about the virtual machines, the VMs. Then VirtualBox itself. And then I will show you what's VirtualBox about. First, what is a virtualization? You run a virtual computer in a computer. Sounds strange, but I have a computer now. I'm running Windows 7 on it, and I can install another computer in my computer. The virtual computer is called a VM, a virtual machine. The VM will use directly your processor. So my computer has an Intel processor, and the virtual machines will use directly the same processor. So the operating system on your VM has to be Intel AMD compatible. That's different than emulation. A lot of people use emulators for playing, for instance, old games like a Game Boy emulator or a Sega Mega Drive or Sega Genesis, it's called in the US, emulator. But those game computers didn't have an Intel processor. So the processor that those game computers have were different, and those were built in software. So your Game Boy emulator can't access the Intel processor directly. The Game Boy emulator will have its own processor built in software. Now about the VMs, the virtual machines. You can run as many as VMs that you want, even at the same time. But the virtual machines will share your real hardware. So if I'm running 10 virtual machines at the same time, it can be a little bit slow then. They can access the internet and other computers and other VMs and other real computers. So it's like a normal computer. You can store the VMs on a USB stick, because a VM is a virtual machine that's running on a computer, so it's actually a set of files. And you can save those files and run those files on another computer. So you can give your neighbor, for instance, your virtual machine and say, Paul, look at this, I have a virtual machine, install it on your computer. And he can see your computer that you're running previously. You can backup VMs, it's a set of files, so just save the files, and also go back in time via snapshots. What I can do, for instance, if I want to install an application, I'm not sure if that's a good application. What I can do is first make a snapshot, then install the application, and if I don't like it, I can go back in time to the moment I created the snapshot. So I just can revert back to the snapshot, and then the application is gone like it's never installed. So it also makes it really flexible and great for testing purposes. Let's say this is my computer, my real computer. I can install a virtual machine on that computer, and I can install more virtual machines. My computer can connect to the internet, but if my computer can connect to the internet, all the virtual machines can connect to the internet via my computer as well. A VM is a set of files, and I can store them on any storage I want. For instance, a USB stick. If somebody gives me a USB stick, I can install then the virtual machines from USB stick on my computer. So virtual machines are not really location related. I can even mail you a virtual machine. Now about VirtualBox. VirtualBox is virtualization software. That's why I talked about virtualization before. VirtualBox, you can install a VirtualBox for Windows, Mac OS and Linux. It's made in Germany by a company called Innotech. And Sun bought it, who made it open source. Oracle now bought Sun again, and so VirtualBox is now Oracle. Sun made it open source, and VirtualBox has an open source edition. The OSE is the open source edition. That means it's free to use and copy it as many times as you want. You don't have to pay any license fee. You won't get sued. You can use it whatever you want. You can even, if you're a program, see the source code and make your own VirtualBox. And we can download it via virtualbox.org. Let's go to the browser, new tab, www.virtualbox.org. This is the one. I can go to downloads, and here I can download, if I have Windows or OS or Linux, I can download it and install it. I'll show you now the demo about VirtualBox. I have VirtualBox installed on my Windows 7 computer. So VirtualBox, and it will start. So in VirtualBox, I have all the virtual machines that are installed. For instance, Windows XP. I can start the Windows XP Professional, and this is now my virtual machine. Starts up, Windows XP. So I'm running Windows XP now on my Windows 7. It's a virtual machine. What I also did, for instance, is Mac OS 10, because Mac OS 10 is Intel compatible. I can install as well on my virtual machine. This is actually not allowed because Mac OS only can install officially only on Apple software, but this is just for testing purposes. So I will push the start button. What I did here is just save the machine state, so it will just go directly where I stopped. And this is the virtual machine for VirtualBox. So this is the OS 10, Mac OS 10. That's one. Linux, I can start Linux as well. I've installed Linux. But you also can do it the other way around. If you have a Mac operating system, if you have Apple, you can install Linux as well. You can install Windows as well. I can see this is my Linux now, OpenSUSE, and I can browse the internet if I want. So let's say, let's go to education.org. Well, that's not the one. Org. Wait a moment. Give it some time. Problem loading page. What is going on? Maybe it's a little bit slow, but it will connect anyway. So what did we see? First, we talked about virtualization. What is virtualization? Running a computer, a VM in a computer. Then we talked about the VMs. Then we saw VirtualBox, piece of software, virtualization software that you can use free. And then we saw a demo. I'm still a little bit confused about this one, but I have to check it out. Anyway, doesn't matter. This basically ends the video for now. This was Deal Addresses for Education.org. Thank you for staying smart.